let's discuss. Here to join us is former U.S. Senate candidate and CEO of Bridge Entertainment Labs, Stephen Olikara, and Chair of Education Opportunity at the America First Policy Institute, Erika Donalds, is here with us as well. Welcome to you both. Thank you so much for being here. Erika, let's start with you. This sounds pretty corrupt, no?
It does, and it's unprecedented, but because the weaponization of the federal government against Donald Trump was unprecedented. Let's remember, they tried to bankrupt him and his family, as well as put him in jail for the rest of his life, in addition to making sure that he doesn't take the White House again. So had they been successful with this weaponization, he would be in jail, he would be bankrupt, and he would be suing a Kamala Harris administration, who is definitely not going to pay anything out for those crimes of the federal government. So he is in an unenviable position, although because he is independently wealthy and can donate these proceeds to charity, he can offset it a bit. But he is certainly entitled to compensation for what was done to him.
So, but nothing about him asking his own DOJ to pay him back for this makes you uncomfortable?
Yeah, I'm glad that he's able to donate it to charity. I think that it's easy for the FBI, for the DOJ to look back at settlements in the past and what was done for those settlements and be able to make a reasonable compensation decision based on what happened to President Trump. But like I said, this is the only way for him to get justice for what the federal government did, and we have to hold the swamp accountable, or else what happens in the future if these types of settlements are not reached? So it's an unprecedented position. I agree with everyone saying, you know, we don't want to see this happen, but we also don't want to see the weaponization of our government against former presidents like happened to President Trump.
Stephen.
Well, I think the American people can look at this and say this doesn't pass the common sense test. This is Trump asking a subordinate to pay him with taxpayer money during a government shutdown $230 million. At the same time, I do believe that we've had politically motivated prosecutions both during the Biden Justice Department and during the Trump Justice Department. And so there is potentially a case for damages here. Now, Trump says it's very awkward that he's, quote, suing himself and that he's been damaged greatly. I would argue that this prosecution actually amplified his political prospects, potentially helped him win re-election, and he's now president of the United States.
Stephen, so you acknowledge that there was a weaponization of the Justice Department under the last administration against President Trump. This is not something that one hears a lot from Democrats. What we do hear is a denial that that took place. And I think that that does fuel this feeling on the right that the deep state or the institutions are really weighted in favor of one political side over the other. Why don't more Democrats acknowledge what you just did, and how can we bridge that divide and create more consensus around that?
Because most Democrats on TV are partisan operatives who are, in my view, I say this charitably, political hacks. And so as a result, they're not able to look at these issues holistically. It's my team versus your team, us versus them. When our side does it, it's right. When they do it, it's wrong. And part of what I'm trying to do when I go on platforms like this is get beyond the partisanship and look more at the truth.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.